All right, everybody, how is it going? Real Fruits. Ignore any of those you see. Real Diversity, we are back with another video, and we're going to be going over the new set. We actually did this earlier in another video. I had I decided to redo it with the picture so you guys could see the Pokemon, and that way it just kind of makes it easier on everybody to read the card like as if you were normally looking at it. See, I decided to redo this, and also I got some fresh thoughts in a fresh mind now because I was a little tired when I made the video, and also I got some more info because we were playing with the set a little bit. So I'm also this is pretty much a more in depth because now I have more information, a little bit more. So a little time has passed. Still the same date as set has released, but I know a little bit more now. So let's all right. Let's get into it. So execute. And by the way, I'm gonna botch some of these names, so I may just not even say some of them. You guys know it's Pokemon on the screen. Hopefully, usually I like my videos to kind of be like a podcast where you can just kind of listen to it. But this one, you might have to look just so you know what Pokemon I'm talking about, because I'm some of the newer mons. I used to like learn all the months. I used to watch the anime really heavy and all that stuff when I was real younger. But now I don't know much about the new Gen 6 and not Gen 6, about like Gen 6 now, I think, right? Is that what they're on? I don't know much about the new gen, so I don't hear much of the new Pokemon names. You watch the anime, they say their name, or the trainer says their name, and I usually some of the new ones I'm just like I don't know how the heck you say that. But anyways, so if I botch your name, sorry about that. I'm trying. But yeah, some of these names are just really like just don't come off the tongue easy. Execute, really interesting new card, or a new version of Execute because we already had one. This one I thought was interesting because the EX only needs one energy, so this one it gives you energy when you attack, so it kind of you can ramp up really quick with this. Especially you go second, then you're already on 3 energy by your third turn. So really solid card. You still won't be able to attack though. That's the unfortunate part. Is you still would need another turn to attack with Executor. But yeah, really solid substitute for Alakazam. A much better Alakazam, especially if you're going second because you only need the stage 1. And I think this card also hits on curve as well as Executor. I think he hits on curve because let's say Pikachu, yeah, he knocks out Pikachu. He doesn't knock out he knocks out Mewtwo if they have 3 energy with a Giovanni. Most likely you won't run into a Mewtwo with 4 energy, unless they were like saving it, but then that would be dumb because if they see you have Executor sitting up on the bench. But maybe, you never know, they may be, if they can knock out your Pokemon without using it, they may. But yeah, but with 3 you can definitely knock it out with a with Giovanni. So yeah, and then Charizard, also another card hard to hit. I think this knocks out Charizard right for if it's max. Charizard is definitely one of those cards that sometimes has way more energy than 4, so that may be a lot more easier to or feasible than the Mewtwo one because they usually may have 6 or a lot. They can have a lot, especially if Moltres was like really going crazy with the heads. So yeah, Exeggutor, really solid card. I think Force kind of tough. You're really gonna need 3 turns to get this going. But again, potentially still better than Alakazam just because Alakazam needs 2 evolutions. This Exeggutor only just needs a stage 1. So I think they're pretty even, and they get online pretty much the same time if you're going second. So Celebi. Okay, this card is really good. At first I looked at it, I was like, I don't know, Celebi. It looks promising, but coin flip, I was like, you need to put a lot of energy on it just to be viable. But yeah, with the partner this thing has, this thing has been devastating, and I've ran into this card like 5 times already today. And I even said this. I said this card has the potential to do the highest amount of damage in the game. We're gonna see some streamer at some point, some YouTuber at some point. Maybe just in like a practice match, or maybe just against the CPU or something. They're gonna build this card up, give it like a crazy amount of energy, and then flip, and then they're gonna hit for like 500. It's gonna be something crazy too. And funny enough too, you can. I think see the most damage you've done in the game on some is, I don't know if other players can see it or not, I can't remember. But yeah, it's very interesting that yeah, imagine your highest damage done is like 600, and like we've never even came close to that anytime soon. So yeah, I did actually get hit with 250 recently with this. Really solid card, and we're gonna explain why. But at first I was looking at it, I'm like, it's gonna take a lot to ramp this up. But very obviously, once I saw this Snivy, so this is Snivy, very basic. I always hate the basics when starters or just any of the basic mons that have need two to attack on their first turn. But he is hitting for 40, so it makes sense, I guess. But and then Servine hitting for 50 with just 10 more HP. So still kind of in a really easy to knock out here. The Servine, but yeah, it should better. Luckily, you can attack. Excuse me, on my, let me blow my nose real quick. You can attack on curve with Servine and hit for a good 50. Superior, this is what's really interesting. Superior's ability on Jungle Totem. So with this, you're able to pretty much, this was actually, this isn't the first time we've seen this ability. In TCG Live, there was a Charizard that had this exact same ability, but with fire energy. So for one grass energy counts as 2. So pairing this up with Celebi, you only need like 2 energy on it for it to be able to flip 4 coins. So you're already averaging like 100 damage if they're like if you get the right flips, right? If you get but yeah, again on this game, Tails does seem to be very common. So I will say, if you're depending on coin flips, not the best strategy. But when you're flipping 6 coins, it's pretty hard to not at least get 2. And if you're at least getting 2, you're usually gonna knock out most things with 100. And if you're getting 3, you're knocking out Mewtwo and anything below that, like a Pikachu, a Starmie, you know, a little bit tankier guys like Machamp, Blastoise, Venusaur, Charizard, and a lot of the other newer Gyarados even, they're tankier, and so that 150 threshold is really important now because, excuse me, on average you are going to probably be dealing with a Celebi that's flipping 6 coins. I think that's going to be a pretty average thing. So having more than 150 HP is maybe relevant. I think Celebi is going to be a huge counter to Mewtwo, especially if when it gets online so early, because you can have three energy on, if everything goes perfect and you go second, and by your third turn you have 3 energy on your Snivy. So yeah, next, yeah, Superior really great. I can see it pairing well with a lot of grass stuff, but mainly Celebi's like it's really just meant for that Celebi, because even Venusaur has is a stage 2 as well. So two stage 2s never work out that well, but you definitely could set up this could be one of really the only decks you may ever be able to set up 2 Venusaurs consistently with. But either way, you're just not gonna have that luck to set up three stage 2s, and yeah, that something has to go horribly wrong with your opponent, or you just have to get really lucky. But yes, and then Morno, or sorry, I said that totally wrong. Morlul, and then I'm not sure what this is. Just I'm not sure I pronounce this, one of the newer ones. This is the pretty much the Frostmoth grass version of Frostmoth. Hits for, yeah, pretty identical too, because I think Frostmoth hits for 50. Yep, and oh, this is guaranteed their sleep here. Frostmoth, you flip a coin. Oh, this is actually better than Frostmoth. No, never mind. I forgot. Every time you put them on to sleep, they flip the coin to wake up. That's my fault. Okay, they flip the coin to wake up as soon as after you attack them. So yeah, that's right. So 90, I think Frostmoth also nice. So pretty much, like I said, an exact grass version of Frostmoth. Not bad. And this mon is also a direct. Looks like a grass version of Lapras. So it looks like they kind of really added quite a bit of grass mons to the game now. And Celebi now should be probably the best grass deck in the game. Venusaur still competes if you can get it online in time, I think. But yes. So Ponyta, very interesting. This one's a little bit different from the other one. If you get hits, this does 30 more damage. Now, considering, excuse me, the normal Ponyta does, or original I should say, does he does 20. With this one, just still doing 10 with the potential to do 40 seems way better to me. Just hitting for 40 that early on has a lot of potential. So even if you go first, I mean, even if you go second, you still can hit for a potential 40 like you could with the Rapidash for 1. So I think that's really strong. And then you get the second Rapidash. This one can hit for 100. Add that on top of Blaine, you can hit for 130. But obviously, I wouldn't be trying to calculate all that in there. I think this is a decent sub for this is a decent because I think this is worth the energy. How much? He's 100 HP. A lot of times when I played a lot of Ninetales Rapidash, and I think oftentimes the beauty of Rapidash is that it only needs 1 energy to get going. Is pretty tanky at 100. Not the bulkiest, but 100 usually gonna take 2 to kill. Most likely, especially early game, gonna always pretty much take 2 to kill. That gives you enough time to set up your Ninetales. Here is pretty interesting because you have the option to put a little bit more. You have to put more energy on Rapidash, so you kind of have to. It has to stay alive a little bit longer here, I think. So you can set up your you're able to set up your Ninetales in time, to get that going. So that's the only tricky part with Rapidash here. Is having this one with 2 energy kind of disrupts a little bit of what Ninetales is trying to do with that consistent 90. But yeah, you do have the potential 100 here, so this is hitting harder than Ninetales in the right situation. So, and then Magmar, another. So I think Blaine has really gotten a boost, and I'm gonna try the deck with all the new Pony and Rapidash in this Magmar. I wasn't a big fan of Magmar earlier. But I will say this Magmar does seem a little bit better. The only issue with me or with this is I feel like once he attacks, he's like a fish in water and you have just no way of recovering. Now, I will say this. If I did throw this in the deck, I think the one thing is he would just kind of have to be a bench. He would have to be just kind of a bench holder. And because there's oftentimes, but that's hard to do, honestly. Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be hard to do because again, Ninetales requires 2 energy, and every time Ninetales attacks, you have to keep feeding your Ninetales. So it'll be really hard to partner this with Ninetales. I think this would get paired a lot better if it was working with by itself with like a Moltres. I think this is where this deck would really have a lot more potential. If it was working by itself with a Moltres or a Rapidash, Rapidash can be in there, and then it's hitting for a consistent 80, and then you have Blaine, so you can hit for 110. So Larvesta combustion for 280, so pretty bulky for a basic actually. And then Volcarona. So I think this is we may see some decks on this. Again, this looks like Volcarona looks like it might need to be paired with Moltres, but this is probably the best sniper in the game. So Volcanic Ash, discard 2 flame energy from this Pokemon. This attack does 80 to one of your opponent's Pokemon. The 80 is crazy damage, and to be hitting the back line like that, guys. Like, think about that. Think about that. You're hitting. They can't set up nothing. They're. Think about Rolts. You're just destroying their Rolts, and I think Curlia. I think Curlia only gets is only 82. So even if they evolve their rolls to stage one, it still get knocked out. It still get knocked. Um, See, this is like the setup destroyer, and this partners really well with that Poke Flute we're gonna see later. Poke Flute allows you to attach from your opponent's discard pile. You can put a basic Pokemon on their bench, or so really strong partnering with this, especially if they're just not able to set up, and they have some stall in the active spot. They just can't do much. So. I see a lot of potential with this. I don't think it'd be a bad idea to throw this with like a maybe an Arcanine deck or so, or just throw it with something. I don't know yet. I honestly don't know yet, but yeah, it can be partnered with something. And Saladit is this one's pretty interesting. If your opponent's active Pokemon is poison, this attack does 40. You know. 40, so he's hitting for 50. He's actually hitting for 50 now I think about that. 50 on a basic. I don't think this, this alone can partner pretty well with in a poison deck. This like the energy it needs is neutral. So you can throw this in a Weezing deck honestly and hit for a consistent 102 turns plus their poison. And while you're setting up your Weezing again or something like that, or setting up something else. So I don't think it's bad. I really think it may have more use than we think. But it can also partner with Salazzle itself. Your opponent's Pokemon is now poison, so this is very much a worser Weezing. I'll say a worser Weezing to me. Fire Weezing, but less bulky. And I like Weezing's ability to poison without actually having to physically attack. So just the worst Weezing, honestly. But yeah, and also I think I'm gonna come back to this later, but I think someone else can even do this better as at a stage one. Magikarp, yes, Magikarp 30. That's the one thing he has to hide in the bench. You have to be able to hide this card because, 30 is so easy to knock out with anything. But yes, Gyarados is really the show king of the sea on and at least now it may be the new best Watermon in the game now. I think Black Articuno maybe still runs, but yeah, this new Gyarados is pretty interesting. I think hitting for 140, so automatically with a Giovanni knocks Mewtwo. Plus don't forget Misty's always a threat. You never know when a Misty's gonna pop off, so you can legit start hitting for 140 turn. If you go first, and you can literally start hitting for 140 your second turn if you get lucky with Misty. So very much a threat. Obviously if you're lucky, but also just still a big threat in general. And pretty darn bulky too. Even with Pikachu takes 2 to kill with Pikachu. So yeah, only thing competing or one shot in this is Charizard and potentially Celebi now. Also potentially Zapdos, but good luck with that. Cause you would need all 4. Yeah, you would need 4 hits. Yeah. So anyways, and Vaporeon again, another card that people have been talking heavy about. Washout. This was interesting. I think the reason, so I really don't know. I really don't know what you pair this with, but what I will say, I did see this with a Starmie, and I think that's not a bad idea because I think Starmie can play this game the long game, and you can keep bouncing back and forth. It can retreat for free, so you can keep bouncing between your Starmies if you have to, or whatever, or at least stall them from getting a knockout for like as long as you can, right? So now I really don't. Well, I don't know. I think it just helps you stall for maybe an extra turn in certain situations. But I think really you would partner this, I guess, with even something else that could use a lot of energy. I would say a Lapras. You know what? I think this partners really well with a Lapras because then you can build up your Starmies, and then once they get low on health, I think you would throw Lapras out there. I think that's the Lapras EX. I think that's how this deck would really work proficiently. And then also, if you get lucky with a Misty, you're able to also transfer that energy at any time to a different mon. So I think Vaporeon, Starmie, Lapras. If I could right now, I would make that deck. I don't have Starmies yet, so I can't make that. Sorry, Starmie. Star used the basic. Or stage one. Okay, Lumino, this attack does 50. I'm gonna kind of skip over some of the basic mons if I just look normal. Like this is 61 for 20. I mean, just standard stuff right there. Again, it's unless I notice the HP is a little bit higher. Like I said, I saw 80 earlier on. I forget already, but sometimes the HP is a little bit higher. But yeah, Lumineo. Sorry, I said this wrong. Aqualiner. This tech does 50 to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. This one also got to pay attention to the wording here. 50 specifically to one of your, specifically to the bench. And one thing to note here, if you didn't know, if they don't have a bench Pokemon, this attack does nothing. If they have no bench, this attack does nothing. I think a lot of people are going to be playing lighter on their bench too. Nowadays, I think people are going to be holding cards. There's so many cards now that do damage depending on how big your bench is. I think there may be a people may start trying to hold that, and now I think that may reignite people carrying red cards again. So, but yes, and then Chudo and pretty standard 80 again 80. That's pretty high, but two energy attack for only 30s. Nothing breast Dreadnought. Again crunch. Flip a coin if heads. Discard a random energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. I think with this. I think with this needing 3 energy, it should just automatically discard the energy. I don't think you should have to flip a coin here because there's so many other stage ones that hit for 70. I'll say this almost every video, but you have a stage ones that hit for 70 is so common. You have at least if we're even talking about water, you have Gold Duck, you have Sand Slash, you have Salazzle really should be hitting 70, but it's doing 60 for 2. There's another one off the Bisharp, and I think I can't think of any other right now. I'm sure I'm probably missing one that's hit for 70 for 2 as a stage 1. But yeah, again, potential energy discard, but I think it should be guaranteed. This will make this card just a little bit better. Other than that, this card probably isn't gonna get no play. It's just not doing enough with that flip. I just really shouldn't have to flip a coin on that. Especially considering you need 3 energy. I think that's what that 3rd energy really, that extra energy should just give you that discard for free. Cramorant, flip a coin if heads during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage and affects attacks done to this Pokemon. So, really strong, obviously, but I think just unless you're getting really lucky, like he goes down pretty quick. And I don't just 3 energy is a lot. He can be pretty much tanky and just unhittable if they're really lucky, and that could be annoying. But other than that, this 3 energy, if he's in the active spot before he gets that going, he's probably just gonna get knocked. New Pikachu. This attack does 10 for each of your bench Pokemon. So again, this is like the Pikachu EX, but just only doing 30. But that's pretty strong against like a Staryu. So don't sleep on it. Farfetch, I think that no, it doesn't knock Farfetch. Well, what does Giovanni does? But it also puts a lot of energy or damage. It does 50. It puts a lot of damage into those birds like Zapdos and Moltres, and as we like to see a lot nowadays, Articuno. So yeah, definitely a lot of energy into the birds, and I think that has some viability there. And I would definitely run this with this Raichu, because I mean, if I'm running Raichu, this is just the better Pikachu for sure. I think over the other one. I could be wrong. I think this has less HP. I can't remember. I can't remember the other Pikachu stats. Anyways, this Raichu not too bad. Partners really well with Lieutenant Surge again. And then we got another Let's Bills right under. I'm gonna talk about that in a second. But this does 20 damage each year. I think this is really good. I think this is a second Articuno option. Articuno is a, well, he is a basic Mondo. Articuno does one. He's at 130 health, but he is an EX and better basic, and does this. But he does it. He does 10, but he does 20 more to the active. But this one still does more damage total, right? Because let me do the math real quick. You can do up to 120 total damage, and against Articuno, you're doing a total of 110. So yeah, this one does more damage to a full bench than Articuno, and yeah, really strong in my opinion. Only thing is 60. Two of these doesn't really kill anything. So if you're going against like a Mewtwo deck, Mewtwo's gonna pretty much still destroy you pretty bad. That's the other thing. Certain decks this doesn't go well into certain decks, but other ones, yeah, it does goes really well into ones that like this are switch heavy, things like that. So, Electabuzz, this tech does 40 to one of your opponent's Pokemon. It is a basic one. A lot of times that's a big thing to consider when you don't have to look for evolution, and you can pull this out with a Pokeball. That is important. So I would say Zep Striker for one doing 30 seems a little bit better, because then you can just start building other stuff. And hitting 40 is still just nothing crazy on the bench. But that pretty much two shots a lot of things, I think. But yeah, like there was nothing too crazy. But again, with partner with like a Pikachu or so, I mean, it has potential. It definitely has potential. Only thing is, yeah, it just can hit the active Pokemon too, so that's good. Joltik, Bug Bite, again very low, 40 HP. But 30 for Bug Bite is pretty good. Galvantula looks really good. I think this is basically just the electric Arbok. Does a little bit more damage but less HP than Arbok. Arbok's at 100, right? Or 100, I believe. So I would still go Arbok over this Galvantula, but not a bad option. Especially if you're able to stall, and yeah, not bad. Especially if you're like using this early game stalling. I gotta see. Electric has a lot going for it. I really gotta start like. I think the Lieutenant Surge decks are really gonna start popping up soon with some of these. But yeah, Galvantula looks like it's 80's a pretty low benchmark. Again, you can even Volcarona kills this. So yeah, I wish it was just 90. That would just make me a little bit more comfortable. But yeah, Dendene, Thundershock, flips a coin for opponent's active Pokemon is dial paralyzed if you get hits. Mew, this one's not your opponent for this. That's not bad, I'd say. But yeah, this isn't the one. Really interesting one. It's just the EX one. Genome hacking. Mew always kind of has something like this, where it can copy your opponent's attack. So this copies one of your opponent's active Pokemon. Not the best in my opinion. I seen someone running this earlier with a Mewtwo deck. I didn't feel like it was that. Really, it didn't. I feel like it didn't add that much value, but you know, it's there. It definitely. They definitely have to be careful of who they put out in front of this thing. Because it may can just steal Charizard's attack without any repercussion. So, definitely have to be cautious of it. I think it's strong into a few things. Definitely like an Articuno or something like that. Like a Blastoise deck. Well, no, maybe not Blastoise, but it definitely is good into a few things. I think. Mewtwo, it counters Mewtwo, so I think it does really well. Um, yeah, this one's pretty much the Psychic Meowth headbutt for 26 HP, not the standard. This tech does 20 more damage to each of your opponents. So again, another stage one for 70. This one's interesting though because he only needs one energy. That's very rare. The condition needs to be met though. Another stage one that only needs one energy that can hit for 70 is Rapidash with Blaine. So Prozac putting down sleep, so not bad stall there. Heal 10 damage from this Pokemon. Again, 40 for one isn't bad, but again, this is stage one, so nothing crazy. But I will say Rapidash does 40 for one without the heal, so that's pretty good. And then this one heals 20 from each of your Pokemon. Is the first one each or just from the, so this each of your Pokemon. That's This no, there's still two. I was gonna say this may partner well with Butterfree, but at the same time, still two stage twos, and that's just never gonna work. Swirler, Slurpuff, Magical Shot, six, not bad. This is better than Salazzle, better than the original Salazzle. I guess you could say 100 for 60. Salazzle was like what 80 for 60 or 70 for 60, the original Salazzle. Mankey, flip coin if tails. This is take the. I'm. What's the other one at? Other one's at 52, right? I think all of the other ones at 50, or the first original maybe at 60. Um, I kind of like this a little bit better because I feel like the one that inflicts damage on himself isn't bad, but it just doesn't always feel needed, especially if you go especially if you're going first, but if you're going second too and you know they're gonna hit you next turn, what's the point of inflicting damage on yourself when you could already just anticipate the damage? This probably is a little different. This does just he does 50 on punch, so they potentially have the same damage, but prime is guaranteed. I think that's pretty good actually. Compared to what we've been seeing. Oops. Yeah, steady 50. You know, this isn't, when you think about this, think about how you go first and how you don't get to attack or put energy onto your second turn. This is one of those good cards that I think he fits well in certain decks like really he pairs well with the other Mankey version, honestly. Because if you go first, then you can just pick him out, or I think he pairs well with another Mankey. But also, there's plenty of decks that need a stall early on. I think he pairs well with I can look at some fighting decks. I think he can fit well in something. 50 for one. I wish this was a little bit bulkier at 90. That would feel a lot better. Geodude 2. Heavy retreat cost. I want to point that out. Heavy retreat cost with Geodude as a basic. You got that once he's out there, he's pretty stuck to. And 70 HP, not the worst. Graveler at 100, Golem at 160. Once Golem's out though, he can use guard press, and this reduces damage now instead of the old one. I think which I know did 160. Did it do? I can't remember if it did damage on Golem itself or not. Aerodactyl, a very interesting ability where your opponent can't play any Pokemon from their hand to evolve their active Pokemon. So very, very interesting card, especially if they've been setting up and you just like know they're trying to use it, and then you're just like nope. Or evolve, they're trying to evolve and you're just like nope, not gonna happen. So can definitely shut off some teams, I think. With somebody's and also another underrated thing here with Aerodactyl, I think to note is 80 for 2 energies pretty solid. Like I said, consider most of the time, again, this is a basic. Most of the time, 2 energy usually gives you 70. So 80 for 2 is pretty good. No side effects though. No additional effects. So not bad in my opinion, especially if you're going first. And then you can throw this out pretty much immediately. So yeah. Oh no, you can't because he needs the fossil. Never mind. I forgot he is a stage one. Never mind. He fits right into the stage one mode. I guess because it's an EX, he does 10 more damage though. Marshadow, again, does revenge, pretty strong set. I think this may be what fits with Mankey. I think this is what fits with Primeape. Honestly, maybe this Marshadow. Maybe you can build a deck around them two alone, or maybe just the old Primeape, because the old Primeape is a glass cannon. He is a glass. Maybe you can build one around them. Honestly, the original Primeape. I gotta do some experiment. I'm finally starting to get some wiggle room. We can finally start just trying some different stuff. Stone Joiner, Mega Kick for 90. Basic. Again, not much to say here. If Brock just added energy to any of the fighting Pokemon, that would this card wouldn't be so bad then. But since he doesn't, no. Coughing. This new one's pretty interesting. You can pull out your other coughing. The only time I can feel this just feeling bad, I think this is a really great way to deck then. But what feels so bad is if you already got it. And then also, if you just like run into a Pokeball later, in theory this looks better, but I just think it's worse. Wheezing, Smoke Screen during opponent's turn. If the defending Pokemon tries to screech, your opponent if the defending one tries to attack, your opponent flips a coin. If tails, that attack does nothing. So yeah, pretty deceptive. Wheezing, tanky again with Koga as well. So you can be hitting for 50 and they can't hit you at all. And then yeah, so Prologue, standard stuff here, 20 for 1, 60 as basic as it gets. Liepard, again, another one of those. Oh, you also get this too. You get a lot of the stage ones that will hit for 40. So you get it's like a lot of stage ones do one or two things. They hit for 40 with 1 energy, or they hit for 70 with 2 energy. So this also falls in line with the Marowak, non-EX Marowak, and Rapidash falls in line with those two. I'm probably missing one too. Venipede, this is the one I was thinking about earlier. So this is the one where I think Salazzle doesn't even compete with this with the Whirlipede. Salazzle's not even competing with Whirlipede because Salazzle has 80 HP, right? Whirlipede has 90, and also he's doing basically 10 less damage. And he's also setting up for his Scolipede, so that definitely shouldn't be showcased. And so, and I've built the deck. I'm gonna upload soon later today a Scolipede deck with Wheezing. So I've been playing that a little bit. It's a work in progress right now, but yeah. I gotta see what other Pokemon poisons. I gotta see maybe if Weezing he may not be the best, but we gotta see. But he works really well with Koga, obviously, and there's definitely a strat I'm coming up with the deck now, actually. So we'll still give some more time. I'm gonna get the video for you guys if you're interested in that, cause we managed to get his whole evolution line fairly quickly. The new dragon, I heard somebody talking about maybe doing a Flareon Vaporeon deck with this. I thought, let me go back to Vaporeon for a second and see, do you attach energy to, so it has to be a water. Yeah, and you always gotta read those, so you can move a water energy from one of your bench water Pokemon to your act. So again, to move that energy, everything has to be a water type. So cannot partner this with Vaporeon at all. So but yeah, hopefully you know, Drugon. I think it's Digon. Hopefully, it has maybe some potential. I don't see. I think 90 isn't doing that much, but 90 for 3 isn't unheard of. Again, like that other basic mon we saw, but again, this one has a rough skin ability. So Pidgey, Pidgeotto, and then Pidgeot. This attack does 20 damage for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Doing a total of, what is that? 60 extra to that, so 140. He can do an extra 140 to you. And then Tyros, he was going. He looks okay. Again, another 3 cost, another 3 energy, but he does 120, which is not bad for hitting. You know, he knocks Pikachu. Does decent damage into everything else really, so pretty much puts everything else in a one-shot range. But the build-up seems interesting here. I think maybe you play him with like a maybe you play him with like a Farfetch slash Jigglypuff type of deck or something, and or yeah, Jigglypuff, not Wigglytuff, but Jigglypuff, and put your enemies to sleep. Is my thought maybe, and just distract them for a super long time, even if you lose that fight. Yeah, that's Tauros for us, and then we got Eevee. This tech does 20 more damage. Again, another potentially limitless attack there. Someone's definitely gonna one day get like 5 hits, and that's gonna be 100 damage. So Eevee's scary potential if they're lucky. Shuffle your hand into your draw a card for each card in your opponent's hand. Yeah, Mimic. If they get lucky and get a lot of professors out early, Mimic can really even that field. So there's been so many times where I'm like, they got 8 cards left. I still have like 13 cards. So maybe this can even out those when they get those crazy pulls. Oh, Ember, of course, Pokeflute. This is what I mentioned earlier. Put a base Pokemon from your opponent's discard pile onto the bench. I think that's pretty cool. I see a lot of utility in that. Like I said, that goes really well with a lot of things. Articuno wants that new that new Raichu, that new Volcarona, Greninja even decks. I think Pokemon has a lot of potential, and just any big to counter a lot of those big EX decks. Especially, I was thinking about how a lot of times when I'm running my Venusaur deck, I have to be cautious on how many basic I put out, because if I put out if I put out all my basics, they can actually win the game by going around my Venusaur, even if I get set up. So you have to be cautious of that, especially because you're gonna lose one most of the time with that Venusaur deck before you get Venusaur out. So they will have 2 Sabrinas maybe left, and it can just go all bad. So you definitely want to wait on it. So. And what's next? Pokeflute, Mystical Slap. I'm sorry, not mystical, mythical. I don't know why they thought it was a good idea to boost Mewtwo decks, but this is essentially what this card is gonna do, is just boost Mewtwo, help you draw a turn earlier, especially if you do hit a like psychic Pokemon or something. I gotta actually go to it to know. Yes. So yeah, another great card, Budding Expeditioner. I think yeah, they made Mew strong with this one. That's all I gotta say. Only thing is, Mew you took time to throw 3 energy on Mew, but if you're running Gardevoir, that shouldn't take too much longer. And so yeah, I think very nice. Mew basically has his own deck. Anytime they get their own support card, they basically have their own deck. Blue again, I think I really don't. I guess you would. I don't know what you would partner this with, but I'm thinking maybe a Blastoise. I don't know, but I you're playing defensive here. the opposite of Giovanni or Giovanni counter. So you guarantee yourself to not get knocked out a lot of times, which can make the difference. 10 can make the difference because that has made the difference a lot on me getting knockouts. So I know it can stop a lot of knockouts. So I think don't sleep on this. I think you'll see it later how frustrating running into blue may be. Late, and then last but not least, last but not least, I said last but not least, but yeah, leaf. Unintentional pun there. During your turn, this retreat cost a active Pokemon is 2 less. Now I will tell you this card really fits in. It fits in really nice with my new deck. I'll show you guys. But yeah, this card actually does have some use. It definitely can move some of the bulkier tanks, Kangaskhan, especially when you think about how those cards are probably gonna have 1 energy on them, but they need 3 to leave. That so it's gonna be pretty often that you will easily be able to just use Leaf, especially if you're playing with any like bulk or anything like that. So yeah, it works really well. I think I don't know what you guys like gotta say, but this makes me a lot more confident in certain decks, especially like that Magmar I was telling you guys about, because once again, after I Blaine and use that Magmar, I need him up out of there. So I think this works a lot better with a lot of decks that just didn't feel good with but again, you're using a trainer card, which you know, hopefully you don't have to use early game. Hopefully this is like a mid game deal. But yeah, a lot of utility here, especially in those mons that discard energy. Yeah, so very a lot of ink. And that's it. I'm not gonna go through the fancy arts, but I do love some of them. I'll swing through them just see what's wrong really like. So it'll be like that blue card. Leaf looks cool too. This Mew looks nice. Wait, there's 2 arrow decks. Oh, I think they have like a crown rare one. So I seen that card today, and yeah. So, anyways, that's all I got for you guys, man. I hope you guys did enjoy this. If you guys did, thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe. I hope I didn't miss any thoughts. But yeah, so far loving the new set. I was one of the big things. Like I don't. I'm usually the play to free or free to play. Sorry, player. And for the most part, I have been. But I couldn't help my excitement. As soon as this set dropped, I had gold from the Black Friday event that I spent all on getting packs. And then I was like, they had like another free, I think it was like what, $2 or $3 or something like that for some more gold. It was, you know, it's not much, but I'm just like, you know, why not, open up some more packs. So I'm just really excited right now. I'm glad to be opening up packs and just really having fun with the new set here. And what I've recently found that a lot of people may have forgot this, the pack points you get are different. I knew this from a while ago. The pack points you get are different. So you get pack points for this set, they don't line up with another set. So make sure by the end of it, I think people are saying like this booster is gonna be gone on like the 30th, and hopefully we get a new pack by then. But I'm hearing that this booster is gonna be gone pretty soon, or not soon, but within like a month or two. And so yeah, definitely make sure you guys use those pack points before it goes away and stuff. So so any pack points you saved from like the other sets, those are strictly for that set. So no pack points, crossover, anything like that. So anyways, yeah, if you guys did enjoy, thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe. We're out, man. We're Diversity. Peace.